Good morning all.
Good morning,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Am I audible and all technical things are okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Uh, Last time we have started a new chapter named Time Series. Now, what exactly the time series is, that is what we have captioned it in a very lucid way. I'm recapping it just for those who are for the first time here and they should not miss much about it. Generally, this time series analysis is nothing but, you can say, a word trend. Generally, in day to day life, all of you are probably using this word trend in a different manner. But ultimately, the things remain same. Most probably, if I'm not mistaken, all of you are using this word trend with fashion technology, fashion or uh, something else like that. But in a day-to-day life, you are using it with normally with a fashion. Fashion in the sense, the different outfits for a moment. For a different outfits, you may think of this that nowadays this trend is on. Previously, the trend was something like this. The word trend, what do you mean by that word trend? Trend simply means that this is what a larger portion of the society have accepted it. Majority of people likes it. This is what, in a figurative way, you can say that that generates a trend. For a moment, let me try to make you understand in your own way. Uh, in a TV serial, if you might have observed certain serials, you may have observed bindis, right? At a certain period of time, this size of bindi gets increasing. In a certain period of time, it goes decreasing. Look, the size of bindi gets increasing or it gets decreasing. That generates a trend. This is just an example. For a moment, outfits in the sense chaniya cholis, saris, all this fashion, or you can say a trend comes from TV serials generally, or you can say from movies. Let us suppose a heroine may use certain outfits or certain style that becomes a trend. So this is how what this trend is. Time series analysis is nothing but evaluating that trend with some numeric value. You can give some numeric value to that trend. So by and large way, if you just try to identify it or you can say try to define it, a time series is nothing but a set of observations taken at a specified time, usually at equal intervals, then mathematically a time series is a function of t. Function of t means function of the variable is t. T means time. So y is equal to ft. This becomes a general formulation of any of the time series. In a routine course, this indicates that there are two variables. In our syllabus, there are only two variables. That is why I am talking about only two variables. Let us suppose there are two variables, whereas one of the variable is fixed to be time. Another variable may vary. Okay. Now, two variables are given to you, means the data set is given to you may have two different columns. One of the column would be time and second column would be any numeric value, any measured value. Okay. For a moment, let us suppose national income data for last 10 years. National income data of last 10 years means naturally for a moment just I'm taking an assumption that 1991, 92, 93, 94 and so on. And the national income, whatever it may be, that is a measured value. If these two columns are there, then you can see, you can view the trend among it. Similarly, means any data set in which one of the variable is fixed to be time and the another variable is some measured value that generates a time series. And that time series can be analyzed from which you can get a trend. Whether that trend is increasing, whether that trend is decreasing, or it is as same as at the same a similar point. So national income data, production of steel data, production of anything, production of cement, production of anything else. Similarly, population data, sales data of a company, number of marriages in last 7 8 years, number of divorces, number of accidents, number of deaths, number of births, number of criminals entering into politics. All these things generates a time series. There are few requirement of time series which you can observe it now. By observation, you can make a list of it. Time series must consist of a homogeneous set of values. Homogeneous means similar like. Similar like in the sense same type of data set, right? To get a better result, to get a better prediction, this data set should be long enough. It should be of a long period. Long period means approximately 10 or more years. That becomes a more, means 10 or more entities becomes long period. That entities can be, you can say it, the difference of 10, at that time it becomes a data of 100 years. So as many as data set is available for as many as years, then you can predict the trend, you can observe the trend in a more focused way. Generally, in our syllabus, what I'm talking about is our syllabus. In our syllabus, time series analysis, the requirement is time between various observations must be as far as possible in a bracket, as far as possible, they should be at an equal distance. So for a moment, let us suppose the first entity is 1991, the second entity is, let us suppose, 1993, the next should be 95, next should be 97, next should be 99. Means this time gap should be equal. This is a pre-requirement. Now, the first thing comes in your mind would be, what will happen if it is not equal? In that case, are we not able to observe the trend? It is possible. Even if these distances are not same, you can observe the trend. But in that case, we have to use some pre-calculation using some interpolation or extrapolation, and then after, by getting value of the missing year, then after you can use this time series analysis. Generally, our focus was initially, our focus is more on linear type of a data. Means we assume that, as you might have done it with regression analysis. As I know that you have already gone through this correlation and regression analysis. What is regression analysis? I'm trying to compare this time series analysis with regression one. In a regression analysis, two data sets are given to you. If these two data sets are given to you, is there any relationship between these two variables? Is there any relationship between these two variables? If there is an interrelationship between these two variables, and if we assume that it is linearly related, then you can get a model. A model in the sense, if it is linearly related, then you may get a line. You may get several lines. Among those several lines, the best fitted line is generally termed as regression line. Am I okay? This is what I think you might have already done it. Already you have passed it in the last semester, I suppose. Look how time series and regression analysis differs with each other. In a regression analysis, it is possible that both the variables are measurable variables. For a moment, regression analysis, a set of variables are height of a person and weight of a person for a moment. Look, both the variables are measurable. It's directly, if you think of that, if you just take an assumption that they are linearly related, then you may get a line, you may get a regression line, y is equal to a plus bx, where a and b are some constant values, routine, in a routine course. Okay. What is happening in this case? Look, both the variables are measurable. When I say time series at that time, one of the variable is fixed to be time. Another may be any measurable variable. Even time is measurable, but time is fixed, and another variable may be any of the other values, other measurable thing. This is how the time series analysis, you can say that it is a specific case of regression analysis. So there is not much difference between regression analysis and time series. A special case of regression analysis becomes time series when your one of the variable is fixed to be time. Now, in the last lecture we have seen it in detail, but let me recap it. Time can be measured in many different ways. Time can be measured in many different ways. Starting it with the smallest entity, seconds, minutes, hours, it can be days, it can be months, it can be quarters. There are 4 quarters. It can be decade, it can be 100 years. So this time can be defined in many different ways depending upon the requirement. You might not be knowing it much, but previously, now it is an electronic telephone exchange. Long time back, electronic exchange were not there at that time. A manual way of management was there. If you just make a call, someone will pick it up, he will connect it to the number which you want, and that was done manually instead of this electronic way. So at that point of time, this time series analysis was used between 8 to 10. How many calls arrived? How many calls get connected? How many of the calls gets disconnected within 5 minutes? So this is how this trend values are to be sorted off, and while observing it, on the basis of those outputs, you can make a strategy. So this becomes, you can say, a utility of time series. Generally, if I indicate it or not, even you can apply yourself. What is the utility, or you can say objective and utility become same, right? What are the utilities of a time series? Time series analysis, or you can say utility of time series analysis is first thing first. First of all, by observation or getting some numeric value, what you can do is you can analyze the past behavior. So you can understand the past behavior of that variable, whatever the variable you have taken it, past behavior of a variable. So time series analysis helps in understanding past behavior. That is one part. That becomes the first utility. Okay. Second one. Now what we are talking about is the current situation. Time series analysis facilitates the evaluation of current performance. First thing first. First is it helps in understanding past behavior, evaluation of current. Now what is the third left? Prediction. On the basis of these two elements, you can predict the future on the basis of past experience. So these are the three basic utilities. Fourth one can be added as you can make a comparison. Comparison of 1991 to 2001 to 2011, 2021, something like that. You can make a comparison among within the series. This becomes utility of time series. Now, as I said it, time series, it is fundamentally, you can say, there are certain components. When I use a word component, I am not using a word classification. Try to understand it. When I say component, naturally, as a whole, when time series, when we talk about time series, there are different components. This component gets fixed or attached, and then it gives you a complete time series. So component of time series, as we have discussed it last time, this component of time series can be classified in a two different way. Some of the components are long-term time series. Some of the component reflects short-term time series. There are four components with time series. Let me put that slide that will give you. There are four types of, or four component of time series. As we can classify it in a two different ways, certain things are long-term time series, certain things are short-term time series. Now, first thing first, which of these four are long-term and which of these four are short-term? Secular trend, or a single word trend is used for secular trend. This secular trend and cyclic variation, generally denoted by C. So T and C are long-term time series, whereas seasonal and irregular variations are short-term variations, or you can say it is a short-term component of time series. As I have said, secular trends, seasonal variations, cyclical variation, or you can say cyclic variation or irregular variation, how they differs with each other. As I said, it secular trend is a long-term time series. When I say long-term time series means generally it is being observed for longer period of time. When I say longer period of time means it should be 7 or more than 7 years. That is the most, or you can say the weightage of this secular trend is much more compared to anything else. Try to understand it with your day-to-day life, that will make it more clear. Secular trend is the basic tendency of the steady movement in a set of observations. It can move upward, it can move downward, or it can remain constant for a very long period of time. For a long period of time means it can be 7 or more than 7 years. It doesn't include any of the seasonal, cyclic, or irregular variation within this. Any irregularity is not there. It's a long-term tendency, right? Okay. There are few methods to get it done or to get it fetched. To get a numeric value of this secular trend, there are few methods of doing it. How and which are the methods to be used to calculate this secular trend? These are the 4 different methods. One first method is freehand, or you can say a graphical method. The second method is semi-average method. The third is moving average method. And the fourth one is least squares method. These are the 4 different methods to get a secular trend. Now, if you just try to understand it in a proper way, what is seasonal variation? Seasonal variation, simple thing is, all of you generally reside at Rajkot, right? Whenever there are, just a minute, whenever certain things happen with season. For a moment, selling of firecracks. Selling of, let us suppose you own one of the company which deals with firecracks. Just think of it. In a throughout year, there are few months or few festivals in which these firecracks are used. Let me put it in your own language. ફટાકડા ફટાકડાનું વેચાણ જનરલી ક્યારે થાય? Normally, it is being done with Diwali time. The second normal thing is in few of the marriage functions or in certain celebrations, these firecracks are used, right? So naturally, if you are owning a company which deals with firecracks, naturally you will find the sales of this firecracks in a certain month you will get it upward, whereas with certain month it goes downwards, again it comes up and again it goes down. In short, you will have a wave kind of a thing. And this wave kind of thing happens always in the sense, if you just take data of last 5 years, always in a month of October, November, you will get this cells of firecracks goes on, and then after it goes down, then after it again it goes on, then after again it is down. Look, this is seasonal. Let me give you one more example. You might have used certain woolen clothes. Cells of woolen clothes gets shoot when there is a chilly morning, or you can say chilly season, when it is a winter season. In the winter season, all of a sudden, jackets are sold much more compared to in a all other seasons. Look, so in that case, again, it is based on certain seasons. Sales of raincoats. Naturally, it is much done, or much of the sales is done before a rainy season. So this, if you just observe this trend, which is based on seasons, at that time it is called a seasonal variation. So this comes under seasonal variation. And as I said it earlier, seasonal is a short-term time series component. When I say short-term component means generally it reflects 1 year, okay? Or you can say 4 quarters. When I say 1 year or a 4 quarters, how would data look like? In a secular trend, as I said, it is a long term. Generally, this is something like this 1991, 92, 93, 94, and let us suppose 20-year data set is given with some measured variable. What will happen with seasonal variation then? In a seasonal variation, generally it is a short-term trend. Short-term trend can be calculated within a year. So data set would be of 1 year. 1 year in the sense it can be January, February, March, April, May, June, something like that. Hence your data may look alike January, February, and that would be the time component, and certain measurable units might be the another variable. Right? Since it is short term, within an year, this can be calculated. It doesn't mean that it should be only of a 1 year. It can be 5 year data, but with every season possible. 5 year data with every season with different quarters possible, from which you can get a seasonal variation. Okay, while observing this seasonal variation, what you will fetch out of it? Some certain numeric, certain measurement, that is fine. But you may come to know that you can observe that in a certain month, or here and there with a variation of 1 month, this particular thing, cells of this particular thing goes on, cells of this particular thing goes down. You can make few decisions in business by observing this seasonal trends, and you can act accordingly. The third thing is cyclic variation. Cyclic variation and seasonal variations are almost same. But the only difference with these two are, first thing, seasonal variation is observed within a year, whereas cyclic variation means cyclic in the sense everywhere there is a cycle. Everywhere in the sense, for a moment, sorry, in a human behavior there is a cycle. You might have observed it with any of the fashion technology. As I said it, that use of certain material, use of certain wearings, or you can say outfits, it is more cyclical. Cyclic in the sense, it is not bounded for 1 year only. This cycle can be more than a year. After every 3 years, the old fashion comes again in the picture and it gets rotated on. It gets rotated in the sense, we are talking about fashion. After a few years, again the same pattern may come. After a few years, again that pattern may come. It gets released, again it comes. So, seasonal variation is a thing which we are observing within a year, whereas cyclic variation are the variation which are seasonal but more than number of years. More number of years means simply you can say it is as same as of secular. Secular means it is a long term. So cyclic becomes a long term variation. Seasonal becomes a short term and it should be observed within an year only. This is how it differs, right? The fourth one is irregular variation. This irregular variation is nothing but if anything happens all of a sudden, it comes under the title of irregular. For a moment, let us suppose tsunami means any natural disasters and its effect on business. For a moment, if you don't go much larger, this corona issue, effect of this corona issues on any of the business, it comes under irregular variation. This irregular variation is again a short-term time series. Short-term time series in the sense, again, generally it is being observed within an year. It should be observed within an year. So this is how these four components combinedly generates time series. Yes, Preeti. Preeti Jadhav. Yes, please. Hello. Okay. Now, are you able to unmute yourself now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Preeti. What is the case?
What is the difference between seasonal variation and cyclical variation?
As I said, seasonal variation is a short-term variation. Generally, it is being observed years. Means fundamentally, it should be within an year. Whereas cyclic variation can be spreaded between multiple years. This cycle can be. You might be knowing it from your father or your brother or something. They talk about business cycles. The business. What is business cycle? After every 5 years, there might be certain change. Every certain years, there might be the behavior pattern of public may get varied. That comes under cyclic. The fundamental difference between seasonal and cyclic is only number of years. Seasonal variations are generally found within a year, whereas cyclic can be found. Hello. Whereas cyclic variations can be calculated or can be found with number of years. It's a long-term time series, whereas seasonal is a short-term time series component. Is it clear, Preeti?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, fine. Let us go further. This is what we talked about. I think I have to unmute all of you because I don't want.
Sir, hello.
Yes, yes.
Sir, can you please repeat first point?
First point of
Circular trend.
secular trend. Secular trend is the larger component of time series analysis. Larger component in the sense among these four components, this is the biggest one, you can say, the most effective one, you can say. Any fluctuation for a long, it is a long-term time series component. As I said, it is a long-term time series component. That means your data set should be for a longer period of time. Generally, when I say a word long or short, it doesn't give you any idea. It doesn't give you any idea in the sense you should define it. It should be more than 7 years. Then it comes under that secular trend, generally. It doesn't mean that for a 5-year data you cannot calculate secular trend. It is possible, but at that time effectivity, or you can say whatever you have measured, it might not be that perfect. As if you get more number of data, you can predict it in a better way, right? So the most and the important component of time series is secular trend. Our syllabus is much focused on this secular trend only. This secular trend can be calculated with different methods. The first method is freelance method, or you can say graphical method. The another method is semi-average method. The third one is moving average method. And the fourth one is least squares method. Over a period of time, trend in price of any of the commodity, food grains, in population, bank deposits, banks withdrawals, supply, money, for a longer period of time, means for a moment we are trying to observe the behavior pattern of last 12 years, it comes under secular trend. So at that time, what you are likely to get would be a secular trend. And as I said, in a time series component, the effect or weightage of secular trend is the highest one. So once you get observed this secular trend, much of the thing is done. All other things are having smaller impact compared to secular trend. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. These are, if you just take a linearity, there are two assumptions: linear type of a trend and a parabolic type of trend. As I have said it, there were four different methods. In a four different methods, the fourth one was least square methods. In a least square method, again two methods may occur. One is if you just take linear trend, or you can say linearity as an assumption. And the second one is parabolic. Parabolic means you can say non-linear. Parabolic means quadratic trend. At that time, you can get any one of these two equation or a function. Y is equal to a plus bx generates a linear thing, and y is equal to a plus bx plus cx square is a general equation of any of the quadratic equation. You might be knowing it everything because you might be using everything. You might have used it many a times. For a moment, let us suppose regression analysis. Regression analysis, always you are calculating y is equal to a plus bx, where a and b are some constant values, And these two values can be found using the behavior pattern of the variables. Once you get this value of a and b, putting it in this equation, y is equal to 3 plus 2 times x. For a moment, a is 3, b is 2. Then y is equal to, it is 3 plus twice of x. So that becomes an equation. That equation gives you, if you just make different values of x to be inserted, you will get different y. So this is how this equation, or you can say a model, or you can say a model of x and y, variable x and y, how they are related, that can be treated as a model, as a function. And generally it is being denoted as y is equal to a plus b. Since there are two variables x and y, second, rays of x and y are 1, means x raised to it is 1, y raised to it is 1. This is treated as a linear kind of a thing. So this is called a linear equation. Can anyone tell me why this equation is called linear equation? I'm going little deep inside of it. Why y is equal to a plus bx? This equation is called a linear equation. I'm putting it more in a different way. Y is equal to 3 plus 2x. Why this equation is called linear? Anyone?
May I, sir?
Please go ahead.
Value of y or value of x is value of x is equal because
You can use your language. I don't mind you speaking Gujarati. I am absolutely fine with it.
ઓકે સર 3 plus 2x પછી એનું જે આપણે સમીકરણ આપણે આગળ કરીએ એટલે જે વેલ્યુ આવે એની ઈ છે y is equal to હશે એટલે કે y ની વેલ્યુ અને x ની વેલ્યુ છે ને ઈ ઇક્વલ થાય છે એન્ડમાં.
Okay. Is there anything else to be added? Anyone else?
મમ્મી માઇક ઓલું ધીમું કરજે થોડું. Sir, may I?
Yes, please.
Sir, the values are taken as constants.
A and B are constant. When you say y is equal to a plus bx, at that time value of a and b are certain constant values. I am expecting it from all of you. I am expecting it from all of you just because of, on the basis of this basic assumption, you have done regression analysis. Janvi, you are right. This is used in graph. I understand.
It
Fine.
comes on a straight line.
Absolutely correct. Y is equal to a plus bx with different values of a and b. Let us suppose they are constant and we are fixing it to y is equal to 3 plus 2x, right? This becomes an equation. Okay. All of you just write it down on a paper. Y is equal to 3 plus 2x, right? Just have a pen and paper and just write it down. Y is equal to 3 plus 2x. Once you put it on paper, now you just supply different values of x, you will get different values of y. If you just take different values of x, you will get different values of y. Okay, try to get it. For a moment, let us suppose your value of x is 0. What will happen? Y is equal to 3 plus 2x, and if you just put x is equal to 0, what will be the value of y?
3, sir.
3. When you put x is equal to 1, what you will get value of y as?
5.
5.
When you get x is equal to 2, what you will get value of y as?
7.
7. Okay, let us concentrate on these 3 points only. Okay, this, when x is equal to 0, your value of y is 3. That generates a coordinate. A coordinate generate, correct? Can you put it as 0, 3? Fine enough. When x is equal to 1, you will get y as phi. So 1 phi generates a coordinate 1 phi. Generally, coordinates are defined as x. Always the first value is of x, second value is of y. So 1 comma phi in a bracket, it gives you a coordinate in a coordinate geometry. So 1 phi becomes the second coordinate, and the third coordinate would be 2, 7. When x is equal to 2, y is equal to 7. Is it fine? So now you have three different coordinates with you. First one is 0, 3. Second one is 1, 5. And third one is 2, 7. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Now
sir.
put it on a graph paper. Put it on a graph paper in the sense, just you can have you don't need graph paper right now. Just do one thing. Put it on a paper. Draw two axes, x-axis and y-axis. Just draw x-axis and y-axis. On an x-axis, let it be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. On a y-axis, just put all the figures 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Naturally, the intercepting point will be 0, 0. Is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Try to put the first coordinate on this graph paper. What is the first point? 0, 3. Means x is 0 and y is 3. Where this point occurs?
It will be on y-axis.
Absolutely. On a y-axis, that particular point 3. Because x is 0, y is 3. Means in a y-axis, point 3. Wherever this point 3 is, that point defines 0, 3. Is it okay? Now put the second
Yes.
point on a graph paper. 1, 5. So on a x-axis it is 1. On a y-axis it is 5. Just try to draw a parallel line to 1 and a parallel line to 5 and a point where these two lines intersects. 1 and 5. That would be somewhere on a graph paper. X-axis it is 1, y-axis it is 5. Is it okay? Put a point there. That becomes the second point. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have you got that point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now think of the third point. 2 and 7. X is equal to 2 and y is equal to 7. So just point down 2 on x-axis and 7 on y-axis. Draw a line and point where these two lines intersects. You receive the third point. So on this graph paper, there are 3 points now. One is 0, 3, second is 1, 5, and third is 2, 7. Is it okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir,
Now connect all these 3 points. While connecting all these 3
Upward
points,
curve. We get an upward curve that trends get increased.
look, it is not curve, it is line. Well, while you connect all these 3 points, you can generate a line. It is not in a curve form. It is line, a straight line. Are you getting that straight line?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Look, y is equal to a plus bx, where value of a and value of b are certain constant. You can take any value of a and b, and if you just take its coordinates, if these coordinates are plotted on a graph paper, it always generates a line, and that is why this equation is called linear equation. I think now it's clear why it is called linear equation.
Yes, sir.
Right? Now I'm putting it in a different way. I suppose all of you are having pen and paper in your hand. 2x plus 3y equal to 5. What you can say about this? 2x plus 3y equal to 5. What you can say about this equation? Is it a linear equation?
No, sir.
Why?
2x plus 3y minus 5 equals to 0.
Okay, fine. You have taken it on the left hand side. Fine enough. Then it becomes linear equation. Is it so? If right hand side, if all the things are 0, then only it becomes a linear equation. My question is very simple. 2x plus 3y equal to 5. Is this a linear equation?
No.
Why?
No.
Why? Why it is not linear?
Because on right side it should be 0.
Okay. Right side it should be 0. That is the first condition for any of the linear equation. Is it so? Can you explain it this way? We have seen y is equal to 3 plus 2x. There was no 0 on right hand side. Even though it was a linear equation. Means that logic is fundamentally not correct. Y is equal to 3 plus 2x. You have calculated all the coordinates. If you put it on a graph paper, you could generate a line. That is why it is a linear equation. That means this can be a linear equation, right? It generates a straight line. So this is an equation of a line. When I say 2x plus 3y equal to 5, don't you think it is a linear equation? Many of you said no. Can you give reasons why you are not treating it or understanding it as a linear equation? Look, all these things are very basics, but this is the foundation. I am taking time to explain this linear equation just because the whole multi-story building is based on this. Can anyone help me out? 2x plus 3y equal to 5. Is it a linear equation? Many of you said no, it is not. Do you have any logic for it? Hello? Fine. It is a linear equation. 2x plus 3y equal to 5. Do one thing. Just take this x on the right hand side. So this becomes 2x plus 3y equal to 5. Just write it down on a paper and now retreat it. 3y is equal to 5 minus 2x. Can it be written like this? Okay. Now 3y is equal to this means y is equal to 5 minus 2x upon 3. Can you rewrite it this way?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
Now make it separated. So y is equal to, it is 5 upon 3 minus 2 upon 3 times x. Can you put it this way? We are restructuring the
Yes,
equation.
sir.
So y is equal to 5 upon 3 minus 2 upon 3 times x. Can we retreat it this way? Okay. If we can retreat it with this way, so look, in this case your value of a becomes 5 upon 3 and value of b becomes minus 2 upon 3, which is LCM of y is equal to a plus bx. Which is as same as of y is equal to a plus bx, where value of a is 5 upon 3 and value of b is minus 2 upon 3. Possible? Don't you think it is as same as of this? So it is a linear equation. It is a linear equation. How you can identify? Look, there are certain basic things which you should understand. I use the word x raised to it is 1, y raised to it is 1. Wherever raised to 1 is there, it is never reflecting. When you write down an equation, if it is raised to 1, you should not write raised to 1 any of the time. Whenever there are 2 or more values, more variables, 2 or 3, if the raise of variables are 1, y raised to it is 1, x raised to it is 1. Whatever may be the constant, it always reflects line. And since it always reflects line, it is a linear equation. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
X raised to it is 1, y raised to it is 1. Since raised to 1 is there, it is not to be shown off. Okay, I just want to extend my idea now. I just want to extend my idea. Let us suppose you just write it down on with a pen and paper. 2x plus 3y plus 4 times z, which is equal to 7. Is it a linear equation? 2x plus 3y plus 4z equal to 7. Is it a linear equation? Is it a linear equation?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is. In this case, there are 3 variables, x, y, and z. So naturally, raised to 1 is there. X raised to it is 1, y raised to it is 1, z raised to it is 1. So naturally, in this case, raised to 1 always reflects a linear equation. But one thing, one change is there. Till date, if y is equal to abx format is there, always you have to put it on a graph paper with 2 axes, x-axis and y-axis. Now, if you have 3 different variables, x, y, and z, now points, the coordinates, which is to be plotted on a graph paper in R3. So there would be 3 different axes now. One of would be x-axis, second of them would be y-axis, and third of them would be z-axis. Means in that case, it is a 3-dimensional value, and 2x plus 3y plus 4z is a linear equation because x raised to it is 1, y raised to it is 1, and z raised to it is 1. So it is a linear equation with 3 different variables x, y, and z, and this line can be plotted on a graph paper in a 3-dimensional graph paper. Means there would be 3 different axes, x, y, and z. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
I think our time is up now,
Yeah.
and we have to take a. I have to take you leave now. Right? We'll see the next thing in the next lecture. And one more thing I would like to make you understand is most probably even college management is thinking of starting offline classes. Most probably from 8th or 10th, I am not sure about it. They will announce it. But most probably in a very near future, offline. Offline means physically. All of you may have to be at college and you will have all the funds as you were having it earlier. So, best luck for it. Further discussion, we'll be doing it in the next lecture. Right? And thank you. Thank you for your time.
સર અમારી કોલેજ ક્યારે ચાલુ થશે આઈડિયા?
શું ચાલુ થાય છે? આઈ એમ નોટ ગેટિંગ યોર ક્વેશ્ચન.
અમારી કોલેજ ક્યારે સ્ટાર્ટ થશે એની આઈડિયા?
એ જ તો કહું છું કે મોસ્ટ પ્રોબેબલી ઇન અ વેરી નિયર ફ્યુચર એન્ડ મોસ્ટ પ્રોબેબલી ફ્રોમ 8th ઓનવર્ડ્સ કોઈ પણ એટલે આ નેક્સ્ટ વીકની અંદર 8 તારીખ પછી ગમે ત્યારે ઓફલાઈન ભણાવવાનું. ઓફલાઈન એટલે આ ઓનલાઈન છે. ઓફલાઈન એટલે કોલેજે આવીને જે ભણાવવાનું છે એ ચાલુ થશે. College management is thinking of doing it as early as they can, and most probably they will be doing it somewhere in the next week. Next week માં ગમે ત્યારે ચાલુ કરી શકશે એવું લાગે છે.
થેન્ક યુ સર.
Okay, bye. See ya.
Hi, sir.
બાય સર.
બાય સર, થેન્ક યુ સો મચ.